I had to splurge slightly and buy Nathan Myhrvold's modernist pizza. I still have to buy modernist cuisine and modernist bread, but I want to show you how amazing this book is. Actually, first it came with a solid steel laser cut bookshelf, and it also came with a handbook. So this handbook has all the recipes you need to make emergency high hydration pizza dough for reviving somebody. Goat's milk, ricotta cheese. It tells you exactly what you need, and you can't tear these pages. These pages have a weird texture, but I realize it's almost like they're coated in plastic. You can't tear them, and I think this book is dishwasher safe, but you'll have to try to see. Okay, so the book, United States of Pizza. It's certified by the Versace Pizza Association or something. I can't pronounce it, but he went to Italy, and he starts out with like the history of pizza, how tomatoes arrived in Italy, and then how pizza arrived in America, and how it started to gain a foothold because there was like Tony Soprano lived there, and then everybody likes pizza. And then regional pizza styles like Detroit pizza, deep dish pizza, and then post-war pizza, Minnesota and their frozen pizzas, and then the roots of pizza. And then we learn about where you can. He went to every country in the world almost, and he bought pizza from every country, including this degenerate thing, which is salmon and caviar pizza that a moron named Wolfgang Puck invented. Why? You like Wolfgang Puck? I don't get his style of cooking.
Why not?
I just don't.
I need help.
And then we got why Tuscany has terrible bread. And so now we look at it, pizza styles: thin crust, deep dish, New York, artesian pizza, square pizza, and there's so many beautiful photographs of pizza. Deep dish pizza, moldy pizza, Neapolitan pizza, which I started to like, American Neapolitan pizza, Japanese Neapolitan pizza, Tuscan pizza, gourmet pizza, toppings you add after you bake the pizza, Detroit pizza, Pizza Hut pizza, which is not even talked about, only one page. And then, bookmark. And then he shows us some really fancy pizzas from every restaurant he went to. He went to like 255 pizzerias all over the world, including 30 in New York, just to figure out what everybody's eating. And there's actually huge variations of pizza.
On top or on the side?
Side. And then he went to 48 pizzas in Italy, 48 pizzerias in Italy, because obviously that's where they invented pizza. Carlo's Pizza. So then, let's skip through this. Obviously, New York has really good pizza, because that's really where pizza was invented. And then we got
Pizza was invented in Italy.
No, it was invented in New York City,
Oh, I see.
according to him. Then there's also Chicago pizza. But he also went to New Haven, Connecticut. And then Portland, Oregon. He said Portland, Oregon has the best pizza in the United States.
I love it.
Okay, and then we learn about a wheat kernel. I thought this was a loaf of bread, but this is actually a wheat kernel. And so we learn about flour. What's in flour? Wheat, grain, water. Water is very important to pizza, and the water affects where you get your water from, affects your pizza. And then yeast. So now you know dough. Then you learn how to ferment the dough. And then he shows us exactly how how levain, I don't know how to pronounce that, but basically how the yeast brews the dough. And then salt, I'm not a fan of salt, but salt's really important in dough because I'm also a scientist. And then sugar, you need sugar to feed the yeast, and then you also need fats. So fats can come from cheeses and stuff. And ways to improve your pizza dough. So now he's actually photographed all these different types of wheat. These are all grains. So then he figured out what's the best grain. And then he's made a pizza with tahini, black bean, poblano corn, and then physics of baking. And then where heat comes from in the oven. And then you learn how to make your dough bubble. So it looks like you've got a crumb layer, and then you've got a gel layer. And so he's very scientific about how to buy a pizza oven. It's not how to buy a pizza oven. Of course, otherwise, I wasted my money on this book. Now, I need a pizza oven. Now, if you can't afford a pizza oven, he's got some home ovens and some cheap ovens. Oh, cool. And that's that. So part 2 tells us how to test stuff. So all the tools we need to make a pizza. Do we have these tools?
We have this.
That's it?
And
We
we have
got
this. And we have this.
3 out of
And we have this.
4 out of 18. Okay, so we have 4 out of 18 items. That's my wife. She's not in the video because she's eating lava cake. So, managing your dough schedule. There's a Brazilian schedule focaccia takes 16 hours to make if you do it properly. So here we learn the biological reaction of yeast. And once you understand amylase, amylose, amylopectin, your Maillard reaction, fermentation, retrogradation, gluten matrices, protein content, then you're ready to bake pizza. So you gotta get your tools, and then you gotta learn your biochemistry, and then set up your workstation, and then shape your dough. So you need to go to Home Depot and get a plaster knife to cut your dough. It's very smart, actually. And then you can proof your dough, cold proofing, and then we got different techniques for different types of crusts. So Detroit crust is different, and this moronic pizza that's got prawns on it, and capers and fresh parsley. Is that the pizza or a bagel? So he actually shows us really interesting cross sections of the different pizza doughs, and there's also emergency pizza dough. And so a lot of this volume is making pizza dough. There's like hundreds of pizza dough recipes. So look at them. And we've got lots of tables. So it's crazy. And then the next most important thing is the sauce. So here we learned what a tomato is.
In case you didn't know.
Well, not everybody knows what tomato is, or how to pick the right tomato for your pizza. I went to a hick town last week, and I asked them where the best pizza was, and they told me Panago, which is a place that puts barbecue chicken on a piece of toast and calls it a pizza. Oh, you need to get a tool called a Bostwick consistometer, which tells you how consistent your sauce is. That's a thing. That's crazy. There's a measuring tool for everything. And then there's also the cheese sauce and the emulsion sauce. If you're a retard, here they put mayonnaise on their pizza. Brazilian thin crust pizza with shrimp, pesto, and mayonnaise. So I said I was gonna cook everything in this book, but I think some pages I'm just gonna tear out. This is an abomination. Bagna cruda sauce, anchovies and clam juice, egg yolk sauce, bisque sauce, clam chowder, milk. Here you get to the most important part, which is the cheese. So,
Well, what's the most important in pizza? The crust, the sauce, or the cheese?
the crust, because the crust is the foundation, so that holds all the other ingredients.
Really? I think you're right. I would like to argue, I think it's the sauce because it goes in the middle. And for a good pizza, you gotta have really good sauce.
Well, that's a good point, because the sauce helps everything stick together.
Yes.
So you can have a pizza without a sauce, actually, because Papa John's sells pizza bowls without the bread. So you can add sauce, cheese. I get it with sauce, cheese, chicken, olives, and onions, and peppers, which is actually delicious. And there's no crust. And some people who have dentures or whatever, or no teeth, they can't really eat the crust. So sometimes I like to just, if I'm hungry but not too hungry, I just eat the top layer of the pizza, which is the cheese and the sauce. Cheese and some of the sauce. Sometimes, by the way, I'm being fed lava cake while I do this video, but sometimes you can I'm lazy, I just want to eat the cheese. But sometimes a person has dentures or no teeth, and they can't really eat the crust. So then the sauce is pretty important. Because every pizza has sauce. Not every pizza has cheese.
That's not entirely true.
What about this pizza that has anchovy paste on it?
That's disgusting.
It's got shrimp and mayonnaise. So, I tell you how much cheese to put on each pizza and how meltable it is, and the problems you get if you buy cheese slices from the store.
Empty casing ingredients.
And of course, no, it's worse than that. And we got fresh mozzarella, or aged mozzarella, or black mozzarella. Burrata, I like burrata.
I think I saw somewhere you put a roasted garlic on pizza, or like black garlic or something.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried that?
No, I haven't tried it yet.
Would you try it?
I would try it. I like garlic. Garlic goes really well with burrata cheese,
That you found that at the restaurant?
which I found a couple weeks ago. So, now, we also learn about toppings.
What can you put on top of a pizza?
Concrete.
So you're okay with putting anchovies in there?
I never tried it with
Or
anchovies,
salmon eggs?
but salmon eggs is disgusting. I don't think any type of seafood should go on a pizza.
Should pizza be eaten with ketchup?
When we were little and we didn't know any better, we would make pizza at home and we used ketchup instead of pasta sauce.
That's fine. What I'm saying is, when you have a normal pizza, some people put a dip it in ketchup and eat it.
That's moronic. We also, so they found ingredients, corn kernels. I've seen them put corn on pizza in Lebanon.
Did they have white sauce or red sauce?
Red sauce. I've also seen them put corn on lasagna.
Corn on lasagna?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen someone do that.
So there's all different kinds of meats, sausage, and then olive oil. So, and last we learn how to bake a pizza. So this is an impinger oven with a conveyor belt pizza. This is what they have at like pizza chains. So then we learn about pizza ovens, or how to put a pizza in a deep fryer. And that's the end of volume 2. Finally, volume 3, recipes. So this is where we actually learn how to cook pizzas. Ooh. I thought these were potato chips. It's actually sausage.
Too.
I wonder how we got a photo of the sauce like this.
You want it? What do you not want?
He's got a syringe and he's injecting air into the crust.
Is he injecting it?
That's what he said. Large bubbles. Large bubbles are a sign of a good pizza, but if you suck at cooking pizza, you could just
No, I
cheat.
think that's what they do in commercials.
Of course, they got makeup artists for the pizzas in commercials. Next time you're watching a Arby's or Burger King commercial and you see that perfectly manicured bun, then go to a restaurant. I dare you to go to any restaurant and see if you can find the same thing. You can't. It's impossible. Because you've got no tomato is big enough to stick out 3 inches from the bun. It's impossible. You know what? If they do that, there should be a law. They should have to show us a 360 of the entire hamburger.
Whoops. What happened?
The ice cream on me. No.
Can you bring a kitchen towel?
No, this basically shows you how to make a pizza. All the actual recipes. Now, it doesn't tell you, let's say, how to make a sauce, because the sauce is in this book. But it shows you ideas of the layers and the toppings and the variations, and then randomly there's techniques. So, and then of course we've got all the different ingredients. Marinara, calabrese, pepe, mushroom, alliums, mustard pizza, pastrami pizza, octopus tofu and lotus root pizza,
Octopus, no please.
mushroom pizza, chicken skin pizza, rotisserie chicken pizza, gazpacho, strawberry pizza, caprese pizza, carrot pizza, coconut chutney pizza.
Coconut chutney?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Neapolitan pizza.
Basil pizza, olive oil pizza, and then how to serve or store your pizza. Oh,
Look at this.